Well, hello there. My name is Mark Miles, and as you know, I love helping trainers, presenters, workshop facilitators really take their results to the next level. And in today's video, I want to talk to you about a topic that, oh, it's a little bit edgy there, a little bit edgy on this topic. The topic is, should everybody become a teacher, a trainer, a facilitator? And this question came about because of the old age question of, are trainers, if not leaders, born or can they be trained? And ultimately, can everyone be a great trainer? And what I'm about to say may ruffle some feathers, folks, may get some people upset because I would have to say that the number one quality that will determine how far you go and how far you grow as a trainer and a facilitator will really come back to one thing: coachability. Coachability. Now, coachability is your willingness to take on feedback and then adjust and apply what you've actually been taught. Now, I want to share with you that ultimately anybody, I believe, can be a great, if not magnificent, if not masterful trainer if they're willing to commit to the journey. But in today's video, I want to go through with you ultimately some core things that if you're not willing to do these core things, then please don't even consider ever getting into the training field. Just don't. Just don't. Allow the people that are willing to do these things, and you step aside and do something else, right? Now, I know it may sound a little bit harsh, but I have to be honest, folks. There are many people out there as audience members that are sick and tired of particular things. And I want to go through my core list. If you're not willing to do these things, please just don't be a trainer. Please just don't be a teacher. Please don't step into a place where you're actually leading a training group or anything like that. Now, again, as I go through these, they're going to seem a little bit harsh, but as an audience member, you will relate, trust me. So the first one that I want to suggest is rehearse. If you, as a trainer, presenter, coach, facilitator, workshop facilitator, if you're not willing to rehearse your content, please don't be a trainer. Please don't be a facilitator, because ultimately, if you refuse to rehearse and you only wing it on the day, you're being very disrespectful to your audience. All right. So number one thing is, you're not willing to rehearse, don't stand up and do it. All right. And rehearsal can be a simple thing as going through your notes, checking what are your learning outcomes, what are you trying to achieve in the day, and in every segment of the day, just being very clear about that and knowing that you can stay on point if anything tries to take you off point. Number one, rehearse. Next, number two is breaking things down into bite-sized chunks. Now, I hate to say great trainers, but if not, even average trainers should be able to break things down into bite-sized chunks, like chunks of 3 or 6 or 10, whatever it may be. Amateurs, if not terrible facilitators, are going to put in like 100 points on a slide or 20 points on a slide, and they're really going to be wasting their words and wasting the, I guess, opportunity for their learners to really take in great information. And they're really disrespecting their learners because they are thinking that the learners or the audience members can remember everything just by hearing it, just by seeing it. And please don't do that. Please remember that your audience, one of the greatest gifts that you can give to your audience is well-packaged information, right? Well-packaged information. And that leads on to the next point. If you are not willing to focus on retention of information, please don't be a trainer. You see, amateurs will look to see how much information they can dump on their audiences, and they get happy if they have completed their 100 slides. But a really great trainer goes, I've just delivered 10 slides and my audience have mastered those 10 slides. That's a great session. You see, and if not an average or a good trainer is willing to go, I'm going to focus on retention of information by my audience and know that it's not how much I get through, but how much gets through to my audience. So if you're not willing to focus on retention of information, please don't stand up and do a PowerPoint. Please don't waste people's time. Please just actually go, how can I take this information and make it as impactful as possible? And that leads on to the next one, which is death by PowerPoint. Please don't do it. Please, please, please. Death by PowerPoint is a ridiculous pandemic, right? That is still floating around there where people stand up, click, 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 and they believe they're delivering a training session or they believe they're running a workshop. Please stop. PowerPoint is a tool. You are the messenger of the message. And the message can be delivered via the whiteboard, by the flip charts, by PowerPoint, by your voice, by all the different strategies that you've got at your fingertips. But please stop with the death by PowerPoint. We're sick of it. Audience members are sick of it. So stop doing it. And if you're not willing to stop doing it, then please get out of the training room. I'm just going to say it. Get out of there. Next one. You need to learn to be able to set up videos and debrief videos. All right. So that sounds like, all right, we're now about to watch a video. When we watch it, it is a video about XYZ. When you watch it, I want you to focus on these things. After the video, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. The questions are going to be this and this. Play the video. At the end of the video, all right, folks, we just watched the video. I'm now going to ask you those 2 questions. Go ahead. These are the questions. Share with your partner. What were the answers you came up with? All right, awesome. Then go around the group. Okay. Listen, folks, I am getting sick and tired of people not being able to use videos effectively or showing the wrong types of videos at the wrong times in their workshops. We need to stop it. And if you're not willing to put in the time and the effort and the energy to set them up and choose good ones, you know, the how-to video or the fault-finding video or the comic state relief video, whatever it may be, I've got a video on how to use videos. But if you're not willing to put in the time and the effort to setting it up and debriefing them, stop videos. Just don't. Because they're going to be basically wasting people's time, right? Videos are great, but use them the right way. Set them up and debrief them. Next one. VAK, visual auditory kinesthetic. Look, if you are someone that's highly visual, guaranteed you're going to run through those PowerPoints. You're going to love those PowerPoints. If you're more of an auditory person, you're going to be running for the discussions because that's just natural for you. If you are more of a kinesthetic person, guess what? You're probably going to be doing a lot of role plays. But I get it. But if you're not willing to actually play in the other styles and incorporate the visual and the auditory and the kinesthetic into your natural delivery, then don't be a trainer. Don't waste people's time, because what we find is human nature, we always default back to our regular, which is who we are as students or as learners, so to speak, right? So being the trainer that's willing to go, all right, cool, I am very much of this. What other things do I need to incorporate to include more of my learners' needs and really connect with them at a deeper level with how they like to learn? Next one. Feedback. If you are not willing to take on feedback after a training session, good, bad, or ugly, don't be a trainer. Don't. What I mean by this is training is hard. Workshop facilitation is hard. It's not easy. And it's going to be rough. You're going to, you're going to bang your knees. You're going to, scruff yourself. You're going to have moments where things go wrong. You're going to have moments where someone yells at you. You're going to have moments where you get the negative feedback on the feedback form. You're going to get moments where people disagree with you. And if you don't have the humility or the mentality or the growth mindset to be able to take on feedback, just don't. Training is hard. Workshop facilitating is hard, but it is extremely rewarding and you get so much out of it. And every single training session you ever run is a personal development and professional development experience in itself. So be willing to take on feedback. It's so important. Next one. Be willing to craft a great self intro. And if you're not willing to do that, then please don't be a trainer. Please don't. I mean, a great self intro is going to be something that really connects with your audience at a very fast pace and is going to position you as an expert and it's going to create deep levels of rapport. But if you're not willing to do that, and if you're consistently doing a poor trainer self intro, then please don't be a trainer. Just don't. Or make the decision that you're going to actually put some effort and time into creating a great trainer and self intro. And I've got a video on how to do that, so you can check out that video if you want. Next, variety of facilitation. And we've touched on this a little bit already, but you want to get comfortable with running pair work, group work, small group activities, individual learning time, these different varieties of things, because you need to realize that in order for people to be engaged, there needs to be variety. If there's no variety, people hit boredom very, very quickly, right? So if you're not willing to investigate varieties of different delivery tactics, strategies, don't be a trainer. Just don't. Because you're going to fall back to PowerPoint, click, 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 and you're going to upset your learners very quickly. Next one. If you're delivering online and you're using Zoom or any kind of software, please get used to the camera. Get used to where to position the camera, how to speak to the camera, and just be willing to actually go, how am I actually appearing on this camera right now? Because guess what? Your audience actually are experiencing you at a very close proximity. And you need to be aware that how you show up on the camera actually really impacts their experience, right? So be willing to look at that. If you're not willing to look at that, please don't be a trainer. Please don't present online because it comes across very unprofessional. Next one. With your slides, I know sometimes people fall into the trap, but I've done videos on this previously. If you're going to use PowerPoint, and it's fine to use it, but it's how you use it is the most important thing. If you're going to use PowerPoint and you're not willing to check the font size, and you're not willing to check the color, and if it's readable and visible by your learners, by your participants, please don't be a trainer. Please don't. Because you're going to end up showing things, and maybe it's going to be okay, but maybe one day you've got font that's like this small, people can't read it, and people just get frustrated. So please don't be a trainer if you're going to do that. Please don't. We all make mistakes, but just please check your stuff before you show. Next one. Please. Cardinal sin. Time management. Please send people to breaks. Please include breaks. Please don't go overtime. And please make sure that you respect people's time, you start on time, you finish on time, and you have multiple breaks throughout your day. If you're not willing to do that, please don't be a trainer or a workshop facilitator. Next one. Please include icebreakers and different types of activities for people to get comfortable bridging into the topic. Now, I've done videos on icebreakers other times. Check those videos out. Next one. Please study your audience and get to know them. Start to think about what do they ultimately want out of your workshop and what would really deliver massive value for them. Because it's not just about your content and what you want to talk about, it's what do they want out of it? And ask yourself the question, what is the one thing that you want them going out and doing differently as a result of sitting through your 1 day or your 2 day or your 3 day workshop or even your 5 day or even your 1 hour training session? What is it that they're going to go out and do differently as a result of sitting through your experience? And that leads to the very last one, which is self-reflection. All right, this is one that we talk about all the time. If you're not willing to self-reflect on your own performance and go, in that session, that 1 day session, that 2 day session, or even the hour session I just delivered, what went really well? What am I really happy about with what I just did? And the second question is, if I ever did that session again, what's one thing I would do differently? What's one thing I would do differently? Okay. And all of these things I've talked about here, folks, if you're not willing to do them, or if you're not willing to at least look at these areas, then just don't be a trainer. It just may mean that you're not willing to put in the time, the energy, and the effort, or you don't have the time, energy, and effort to put in this area. And you may not, you just think, oh, it's not important. But folks, if you want to take this job seriously, if you want to be the kind of person that, does keynote events or runs very large workshops to very large scales, you have to get these things right. And for anyone that needs help in these areas, shoot me a message, connect with me, and I'm more than happy to help you out with these things, via coaching or via the webinars or via the workshops that I run. But folks, if you're not willing to play in this space and, get these things right, then maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's not. And that's okay. That's okay. But if you are going to play in this space of being a world-class trainer, or even a good trainer, or even an average trainer, make a commitment. Be willing to look at these areas. Be willing to look at your time management. Be willing to be coachable. Be willing to self-reflect. Be willing to go, okay, who are my learners? What do they want to achieve? Be willing to go, oh, PowerPoint, that's just one strategy I'm going to use. I'm also going to use this. I'm also going to use that. I'm also going to develop my skills with this. I'm also going to develop that. And it just goes on and on. All right, folks. So I just really want to do a video on this because I've seen so many people step into this space that really they're not willing to spend the time to get these things right, and they just perpetuate negative experiences, right? And we need to go, all right, if I'm going to do it, I got to do it well, all right? Yes, over time you'll get better and better and better and better and better at, but the number one thing we need to remember is stay coachable, be coachable. And if you're not, then stop. Just leave it to someone else that is willing to be coachable, and guaranteed any area in your life where you are super successful, it is because you've been coachable. You've been willing to take on that feedback, right? So on that note, folks, if you got some value from the video, maybe drop in the comment section any things that really resonated with you, any ones that you're like, oh yeah, that one. Yep, I've seen people unwilling to do that, or yep, that one, I need to be more willing to do that one, whatever it is for you. On that note, folks, thanks for watching the video. Like, comment, share. Let's get this out there, and hope you got some value. On that note, see you on the next one, folks.